Let's be honest about what a lot of men are dealing with when they're dating women these days. They're dating women who have a lot of chaos, bring a lot of drama into their lives, or they're dating women who are immature or insecure or who are constantly trying to prove themselves to men. It's no wonder that you have a lot of men now deciding to just check out of dating altogether, which is causing a huge issue in the United States and the Western world in general. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to actually become rare in a man's eyes. Because once a woman learns how to become rare, which I'm going to be honest with you, ladies, the bar is in hell based on what I'm hearing from the men. So it shouldn't be too hard, but I'm still going to lay it out for you in this video, because what I don't want to happen is that you end up falling into the trap of what a lot of these basic women out here are doing, because the men are tired. The men are very tired of dealing with these types of women. So if they notice that you are not one of these types of women, they're going to swoop you up pretty quickly. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. If that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. We've got multiple videos coming out weekly. We've got live streams we're starting to do, and the chat and the comment section is on fire. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, because it helps us get it in front of more people. A lot of the feedback that we've been getting from the women says, thank you for making sense of feminine energy. I've been on a spiritual journey for a long time. I haven't understood how to do all these things, but now with your channel, a lot of these things make sense because you laid it out in a path I could follow. And we're also getting a lot of thank yous from men who are like, thank you for explaining our psychology to the women so they could understand what is going on. So our goal here is to help men and women understand each other better. So you can help us do that by giving this a like. And as always, if I have any trainings or resources available for you, then I will make mention of them throughout the video. However, we do have something really special going on this week for Black Friday. All of our courses, whether it's business, money, mindset, or our relationship and polarity courses, are 50% off now through December 2nd. You just have to use code BLACK at checkout. You can find the links to everything that we have available below so you can get more information. And people already started buying up these courses. So we already have students in our student portal. They saw the announcement. They started using the coupon code yesterday. So thank you to those of you who've already started purchasing. For the rest of you, you can find all of them linked below and just use code BLACK at checkout in order to get 50% off. I know some of you have been waiting until some of these trainings and courses go on sale to get the next training. So here it is. Okay, so let's get into what actually makes a woman rare. As I mentioned, men are tired. A lot of them are opting out of dating. A lot of them are choosing to opt out of marriage. There's a lot of women also choosing to opt out, which is really interesting, but I've already done other videos on that. Right now, I just want to talk to you about what we're hearing from men who are commenting on this channel, and also what I heard from high-performing men for 6 to 7 years. So in case you missed it, I've been coaching women in different areas of their lives for 15 years. And for 6 to 7 of those years, I was around a lot of high-performing men because they were my business mentors at the time. So I was always hearing from the high-performing men what they were dealing with when it came to women. And a lot of them are just tired. As I mentioned, a lot of them are starting to think it's not even worth it at this point anymore. So I've already gone into some of the reasons why. They're dealing with women who cannot regulate their emotions. They're dealing with women who are very chaotic. They're dealing with women who do not understand masculine psychology and how that works. They're dealing with women who are very masculine. They're dealing with women in survival mode. They're dealing with women who get all their relationship advice from TikTok, which is a terrible place to get relationship advice. That's what they're dealing with. Or they're dealing with women who come off as very insecure, and then they don't find themselves getting emotionally connected to these women. So here's thing number one about a rare woman. A rare woman is energetically discerning. What on earth does that mean? What that means, number one, is that you have to stop being emotionally available to just anyone. Part of what's going on in modern culture in the West right now is with this whole free sex thing that's been going on for a long time, and casual dating and casual relationships, is you have a lot of women out here who are not discerning about who they are choosing to share their bodies with, and they're also not being discerning about who they are choosing to be emotionally attached to. And then of course that's causing a whole mess of issues in society, because you're getting with a bunch of women who are getting oxytocin flooding the brain, and then their discernment is like shot because they've got all the feel-good hormones going through their brain. And then you've got men who are becoming addicted to dopamine. So it's created this huge mess in society. And what women need to learn how to do is they need to learn how to stop being so emotionally available to literally anyone just because you want a man. I saw something on Facebook the other day that was so crazy to me, but this is a really great example. There was a woman, she was complaining. She's always complaining about how she's never in a relationship. Woe is me. Everything is terrible. First of all, why are you putting this stuff on social media publicly for everybody to see? I've been saying for a long time to the women, please stop go find a paper journal, not Facebook or TikTok. Like, please go find a journal or a diary with a lock and use that, or go talk to your therapist, or don't go talk to your coach. Don't be putting all your relationship drama on social media. So she was doing this crazy thing where she's like, oh, all the men are trash, it's terrible, I'm so lonely, blah blah blah. Then she was supposed to get married, didn't get married, trashed the guy publicly for not getting married. Then like 5 weeks later she's married, and then now announcing that she goes, only certain people are going to understand our craziness. I'm like, oh, you are crazy, all right. But this is what men are used to dealing with. They're used to dealing with women who are just kind of emotionally unhinged. They're used to dealing with women who are emotionally not well to be sharing all this stuff all over social media. And what happens with a lot of women is when they start getting into relationships, and men too, but this is a video for women, is they're letting all these emotions dictate their decisions, right? So they're letting the emotions and the chemistry and the hormones dictate the decisions rather than actually being discerning about who they are allowing into their environment. And it's causing a lot of craziness. And then not only are they letting their emotions take over all their decisions in their relationships, and then they're posting about it publicly on the internet, which also looks emotionally unhinged, right? So just don't do that. Get a hold of your emotions and start learning how to be energetically discerning. Start learning how to regulate your emotions, regulate your nervous system, which I talk a lot about on this channel all the time, because a feminine woman is regulated in her nervous system and her emotions. That is what allows her to be present in relationships. And then in addition to that, have a better lens of discernment with who you are choosing to give your energy to or give your body to. Like, you shouldn't even be sleeping with people unless you're committed to them. That's like crazy. It's wild. And there's lots of reasons why it doesn't work, and it's caused a lot of issues. If people understood how powerful their sexual energy was, they wouldn't be so loose with it. Let's put it that way, loose with it, right? So what happens, right, and another way in which this shows up, in which women are not energetically discerning, is when they're trauma dumping on somebody on a first date, when they are oversharing constantly, which I just gave a perfect example of something I saw on Facebook literally in the last few weeks. And I was like, that would be an example of oversharing, and you look crazy. Okay, don't do that. And you are emotionally not all together if you are doing that. And the thing is, right, a woman eventually needs to get to a point, and this is what makes her rare, is that she's done enough work on herself to be like, okay, I am regulated and I have a better lens of discernment, and that means that not every man deserves access to my softness, my wisdom, or my time, and not every person on the planet needs to know all my dirty laundry, right? So that's another way in which women can become rare, because when you have energetic boundaries, when you have discernment, when you value yourself in that way, men feel it, and it's part of what makes you rare, because they're used to dealing with these emotionally unhinged women who are running all over the world right now. And if you want to learn more about that, in our Hustle to Harmony masterclass, I cover a lot more nervous system regulation, and in High Value Woman Transformation, I talk a lot about how to have more of those boundaries and how to communicate them. You can get them both at 50% off this week. Use code BLACK at checkout. All the links are below. So here's the second part. Rare women have a life that turns them on. What happens to most women is they have a life, like this is literally it, right? They go to work and they're obsessed with men. That's it. That's their whole life. You know, oftentimes when I do a lot more private coaching or consulting, I oftentimes have to tell women, I say this lovingly, I'm like, please go get a life. Please go get a life. Please go get a hobby. Please go read some books. Please go learn a new language. Please go do something, right? Go start a business, like do something other than going to a job you can't stand, which puts you in a miserable state, and then coming home and obsessing about men, or more specifically, obsessing about one man. Usually that's how they come to me, that you never had anything going on there to begin with, right? So I tell women all the time, please go have a life. Please build a full life. Please find those hobbies. Please find a passion project. Please find something where you're building a full life, because when you have a full life, number one, you automatically become more attractive. And number two, you're not going to find yourself obsessing over men. And when you're not obsessing over men, then you make better decisions. And when you're making better decisions, that goes back to point one about having better energetic discernment, because rare women don't sit around wondering why a guy hasn't texted. They're not sitting around over analyzing something a guy told them 6 months ago. They're not there sitting around wondering why something didn't work out. They're out there creating a life that lights them up. I'm currently married, right? And I still created this project. This YouTube channel was a passion project. It was something that I'd been thinking about for a long time, many years. It was not exactly easy for me to get to this point. I've had a lot of initiations and trainings and things like that. And then my husband was like, why don't you start doing it? I was like, you know what? You're right. So this started as a passion project, this YouTube channel. This gives me something to do, right? It gives me an outlet, right? So, that's what I advise to a lot of women. Build a life. Before I met my husband, I was out at events all the time. I had a business. Like, I had stuff going on, you know, and a lot of women just don't. They just don't. They just go to a job they can't stand and then spend all their free time obsessing over some dude. So you have to get a life, right? You have to figure out a purpose. You add some rituals to your life. Rituals are so important. I was reading a book, oh, I forgot what it's called, but it's about shadow work, and it's about how there is this presence of evil in the world, and there's a collective shadow and how it comes out in all these different ways. And it was put together by a Jungian psychoanalyst. It's so interesting on kind of like the role of evil throughout time. And one thing that's really interesting is that pre-modern tribes and traditions had rituals. They had rituals for a reason. A lot of those rituals were meant to keep our egos in check. A lot of those rituals were meant to keep our emotions in check. A lot of those rituals were meant to help people transition into different phases of life. And part of what's gone on in modern culture is we don't have these freaking rituals anymore as a part of the collective, right? For the most part. Maybe in some cultures they do, but in the Western world we definitely don't. Absolutely not. So maybe you need to create some rituals. In all the training programs we have, we talk about rituals, and that's the reason why. It keeps our egos in check, and that is how pre-modern tribes would use rituals. Otherwise, your grandiosity starts to take over. The stories in your head start to take over. If you're angry, your anger starts to take over. So those rituals were put in place to regulate ourselves. That's what they were for. So bring some rituals into your life. Find things that bring you joy. Find things that give you depth. For me, I love to read. My husband gave me a Kindle. I'm obsessed with the freaking thing. I have a goal of 10% of a book every single night. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I just go deep into these books and I learn stuff, right? So it doesn't even have to be like that complicated. It could literally be as simple as, I love to read, I'm a bookworm, let me spend some time reading and learning new things. It could literally be that simple. And when you build this full life, your energy is not hooked on whether or not you're getting attention from a guy. And when your energy is not hooked on whether or not you're getting attention from a guy, guess what happens? You become rare in a man's eyes, because most women are running around hooked, right? Most women are running around obsessing over some guy who doesn't even want them. That's what most women out here are doing. Next one is rare women are unapologetically expressed. Rare women know how to express their emotions, they know how to express their desires, and they know how to do it in a feminine way, so it actually lands in a man's brain. And they also know how to do it in an emotionally regulated way. They know how to communicate in healthy ways. Now, here's the key. A woman who is very unapologetically expressed, she's not trying to be liked, she's committed to being real. And the reality is that most women out here, they shrink, they try to be the cool girl, or they try to be the people pleaser, or they sugarcoat, or they fawn, because they're terrified of being rejected. Again, because they're obsessing over a man, because they don't have a full life. But the woman who stands and she's rooted in her power, she's the one who gets to choose at the end of the day, because she's the one who's going to have men attracted to her, and she's the one who's going to have men fixing a bunch of problems for her all the time, and she's the one who's going to have men naturally coming to her because she's not afraid of expressing herself. I've done lots of videos on feminine communication. You can go find them on this channel. You can also go find it in, there's 3 courses where I talk about this. So Feminine Magnetism Mastery, Magnetic Commitment Program, and also in High Value Woman Transformation. And once again, everything's 50% off. Use code BLACK at checkout, and you can get them for 50% off until December 2nd. And here's the final one. Rare women do not build men. Now, I recently did a video on the difference between supporting a man and building a man. So I'm going to amend this a little bit. Rare women know the difference between building a man and supporting a man. Building a man, which is the trap that a lot of women fall into, is getting with a man who has no future, no career, no proof that he can take care of you, no vision, no plan, no nothing, right? So I will give an example because I heard this story the other day. You may have seen the video that I did about the woman who lost a lawsuit and now has a $1.75 million judgment against her for being a homewrecker, basically. And more has come out about the marriage that she broke up. So in the marriage that she broke up, and this is a prime example of building a man, the wife screwed up, right? And the wife screwed up because she was young and nobody told her any better. So basically what happens in the marriage, the wife is the one who sued the mistress. She got with the man in question who wasn't shit, if you saw that video. She got together when they were very young. She got pregnant pretty quickly, and when she got pregnant, she ended up getting herself in a position where he's trying to chase some football career in college, and then she's got 2 little kids and working 2 jobs while he chases a football career. That is building a man. That is building a man. And in her case, again, she was young. She didn't know. Nobody told her. Did he end up becoming a football player? No. Right? And then he ended up leaving her for a crazy woman, right, who broke up the whole marriage, and now they've been sued and owe $1.75 million, right? So that would be an example of building a man. Supporting a man is totally different, right? So I've said this before, most men do not reach their earning prime until their late 40s, early 50s. That's just the psychological development of a man. So you might be coming in, most of you, when a man is in his grinding phase. What does that mean? He can still provide the basics for you. You're just not going to be at 5-star restaurants and things like that. And most of you don't even want that. Most of you just want a good man who will allow you to be at home and do your creative projects. That's it. That's what most of you want at the end of the day anyway. That's what most of you are focused on. So, but when he's not in his peak yet, there is support that takes place, right? Maybe the support looks like managing the house. Maybe the support looks like, coming in because he's asking for your counsel. Maybe the support is emotion. More than anything, men more than anything want more of like the emotional support, right? And being that soft place to land, that safe place to land. That's what they want more than anything, really, at the end of the day, and know that somebody believes in them and has confidence in them and somebody has their back. But once again, totally different doing that with a man in his 30s and 40s who's in a grind phase and has a plan and is going after it and is ambitious and is going for it and can still provide the basics, versus getting with a young 20-something-year-old trying to chase like a dream of a football career and then knocking you up, and now you got to go work 2 jobs to sustain the whole family because he doesn't have a job. That's the difference. That is the difference. Most women don't know that, but rare women know that. And I recently did a live stream on the different forms of provision. Rare women know about all the different forms of provision that a man provides. And when I did that live stream, many of the men were in the comments saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for explaining this to women so they finally get it. So go check out that live stream if you have not, because it'll give you a lot of context about what I just said. And then finally, rare women are a vibe, not a performance. So I oftentimes say this, that for the feminine, for the masculine, a lot of the work that's done is like outward, going out into the world, going out, you know, and penetrating the world. And that's how some people say it. Do they have to do internal work? Of course, everybody does. For the feminine, it's more of an energetic internal embodiment. The feminine is all about embodiment. She's not performing femininity. She is femininity. And what happens with a lot of women these days is all their energy is neck up. That's it, right? And I've worked with a lot of women over 15 years. I can sense it. I can feel it. I'm very intuitive. I can tell. And I can usually tell by certain behaviors that all a woman's energy is all up in her head, but from the neck down, she's dead. And I can tell from how she expresses herself. I can tell by how she's behaving. I can tell by how she's talking. I can tell by what she's talking about. I can tell, right, when I'm working with them. And if I can tell, you bet your bottom dollar a man can tell. So where women have learned how to be embodied in their femininity. A lot of women will go out here. I was talking to a woman several months ago, and she goes, yeah, I'm taking these classes on how to improve my tone when I'm speaking, how to sound more feminine. I'm like, okay, great. But I was looking at other areas of her life, and I'm like, okay, well, what about cleaning this up and cleaning this up and cleaning that up and then cleaning up all these stories internally where you think men ain't shit and aren't reliable? Because if you think men ain't shit and aren't reliable, you speaking in a higher tone isn't going to do anything. That's what I mean by embodying them. Rare women know how to be soft. Again, this has a lot to do with expression. I cover that in the High Value Woman Transformation Program is where I cover the most of that. So again, 50% off, use code BLACK. And she's not trying to impress a man. She's not doing all these things to try and get a man. I know this is very confusing, but let me explain. A lot of women will come to this channel. They're obsessing over a particular man. That's what they do. There is a particular man that they have in mind where things are not necessarily working out. I'm talking about the single women right now. And what happens is they'll start Googling all these videos and they'll be like, how do I talk to this man to get this man to turn around and see that he should marry me? Or this man to turn around and see he should commit to me. That's what most women are out here doing, and they don't realize that when you embody feminine energy, it's just who you are. It's not just with one man. It's not to get a particular result. It's just who you are. I hope that made sense, because that's the best way I can figure out how to explain it in a way where it might land and resonate. So what happens is when a man meets a woman who's embodied in her feminine energy, it changes him. He is stunned. There have been moments with my husband, right, where because he was a man dealing with a lot of the women that I mentioned earlier in the video, and a lot of my mentors over the years who've been men had a lot of the same complaints. A lot of the men in the comment section have a lot of the same complaints. When they meet a woman who's really embodied in feminine energy, who knows how to communicate from a place of feminine energy, who has a life that lights her up, they're stunned. They're absolutely stunned, because that has not been their experience with women up until that point. So remember, rare is not about being unavailable or cold. That's what a lot of these YouTube channels out here will have you doing. It's about being so rooted in your values, your roots, your vision, and your feminine energy that you become absolutely unforgettable in a man's eyes. Again, he is stunned, because that's just not been his experience of women up until he met you. And when you're able to do that and you're able to stun a man like that, he will absolutely move quickly and commit to you. Not because you chased him, not because you performed, not because you tried to get him in particular, but because you became the very thing that men are looking for. So check out the description below for all the courses and classes that we have available. They are all 50% off until December 2nd. Just use code BLACK. And if you'd like to join our email list, you can do that for free below as well. And then you'll get our free Enhance Your Feminine Energy Guide. When you get added to our email list, you'll be the first ones to know when we have sales and things like that. So students, and email list subscribers are the first ones to know when we have sales or new programs or anything like that. Plus, they get insights that I only share in those containers. So everybody else, you're the last ones to find out, right? So if you want to be one of the first to find out, then make sure to sign up for the email list. It's totally free, and you'll get the Enhance Your Feminine Energy Guide as a free gift. So thank you so much for giving me your time today. It is an honor to be your teacher. I love the feedback you guys have been giving me has been so helpful in refining this message even further. I feel like I went through a 3-year period of refinement just to even be able to do this channel and this kind of content and do it in a way where it's actually serving the collective. And your feedback has been very helpful in me refining it even further. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I will catch you on the next one.